Hi, good morning, everyone. So, yeah, thanks for joining today morning. Uh, so, it's a Sunday morning, so special thanks to all for joining this webinar. So today we are going to cover RRG, and it would be mainly in English. I'll try to add value, and if at all you all have any queries regarding RRG or any of the features of Strike, I'll try to take it up and yeah, I'll try to solve the queries. So, RRG is basically and I mean, we discovered it almost 1.5 or 2 years back, and that's where we thought that RRG is a very good tool because it helps you to quickly understand which are the outperformers and underperformers, and what it does is that if you have a portfolio of 30-40 stocks or how much ever it is, basically quickly helps you to understand uh, how you can manage your trades. Basically, if there are some stocks that are in laggard, maybe you can reject that and put into leading and all. So I'll try to explain you the concept, but trust me, it helps a lot in managing your portfolio and understanding when to enter and when to exit. Okay. Before that, I will just try to cover few basic aspects of RRG, because we tend to get a lot of query regarding those small issues. So I'll start right from the scratch and try to explain each and every option that is available in RRG. So with that, I'll quickly present my screen. If at all you're able to see my screen, please message yes, so that I would come to know that you are able to see my screen. Okay. uh, Please comment yes if you're able to see my screen. Okay. So thanks. So for RRG, firstly, when you come on web.strike.money, you have to hover over here on the second button and then go to RRG. Okay. So once you click over here, you will get the RRG tab. So over here, I mean, because I have been using and it is on the tab earlier, so it has come to portfolio watch list. Else it will open only indices. Okay, I'll also explain you in a while the importance of having the watch list, and how can you make a better use of that. So firstly, coming to the optionalities, see over here at the top, you can see two radio buttons, right? So this is the RRG graph. On the table on the left hand side, you will get, whatever you're seeing. I mean, it is indices, or suppose if I do Nifty Bank, then it is all the, stocks within the Bank Nifty index. And on the right hand side, you will get the graph of the performance. Okay. On So over here, when you click on chart, okay, so say for example I have clicked on consumer durable and then I click on chart. So basically I get to see the chart of consumer durable, and I get to see how the RRG is behaving. So in RRG, basically there are two components. Okay, on the x axis is the I mean RS ratio, that is relative strength, and on the y-axis it is momentum. Okay, so RRG is the only unique tool that combines momentum and price action together, and that's why it helps to a very large extent to find out the stocks which are outperformer, underperformer, and so on. But chart helps you to understand it in more detail as well. Okay, I mean, even if you want to extend the time horizon on the daily chart, you can do it 1 year and you will be able to see the chart of 1 year. So that is how RRG will help you to understand, okay, on all the time frames. Now see, the so over here that we have is the time frames that you want to see. Okay, so this tool is developed by Julius D. Kempner. He himself suggests looking mostly at the weekly chart, but you can use it based on your time frame. Weekly gives you a fair idea of what is going to happen in say to next 2 3 4 months. Okay, for that, weekly will help you to give a good idea. When you come to daily, so if it is cutting into leading, and that up move has to sustain and so on, so it might take roughly around 2 to 3 weeks of time. So that's where the signals on the daily basically work for 2 to 3 weeks. Okay, for the signals on the weekly will work for you can say 2 to 4 months kind of thing, and monthly is like very very long. Okay, so monthly, honestly, even I use it just to know what is the very very broader trend, because movement of each dots is once in a month, right? So it's like a very slow process. So usually combining daily and weekly gives you a very good sense. If you're a very short term trader, say from, I mean, if you want to look at it something positionally, like say 2 days to 1 week or something like that, then combination of 60 minutes and daily will work very well. Okay. In the past also we have done number of webinars on RRG. You can also go through that. Apart from watching today's webinar as well, maybe it things will get a lot more clearer when you see lots and lots of examples, which we have explained in the previous webinars as well. Okay. So so yeah, now see, one common thing that one common issue that we have found people talking about is that, say, I completely refresh the page. Okay, so the moment when you come to RRG, the people, first thing that people ask is, this is 3rd July. Does it mean that, sorry, on the weekly chart when we do, okay, people say that this is 30th June. Does it mean that, these rates are of 30th June? So that is not true. Okay, what we are actually doing is that we are considering start of the week, okay, as the weekly open, right? So that is why we are considering it that way. And if at all you feel that the prices, I mean, you have a doubt whether prices are of today or of few days back, simply check the price over here and check it with the live market. Okay, so right now the markets are closed, but say this is Nifty small cap 50. Okay, I am just googling this, Nifty small cap 50 live price, right? So here, I can see that it is 9199.45. So usually, see, what happens over here is that some people do tend to take the last traded price. As you can see over here, the close is 9198.7, and that is what you see over here, 9198.7. So despite this being 30th June, this is actually we are considering as the week start, but based on the feedback, we are on the trials of making some changes in RRG. So that new version should hopefully go live this week, where this will be taken care. This due date will basically be the latest date, whichever has the latest date whichever has last got traded. So say for example, even in monthly, right now it says 1st July. That is because the start of the month has been 1st July. But with those changes, we'll make it to the latest date. So which means the last traded date was 4th. So over here, everything would come 4th over here, right? So yeah. Now coming back to the RRG thing. Okay, so one more thing that we have given over here is the benchmark with which you want to compare. Now, this is very important for the people to understand that when you are analyzing RRG, okay, you are doing a relative performance analysis. Okay, which means that if the index is going down, so over here in case I have taken benchmark index, right? So if the benchmark index is going down, okay, and say for example the benchmark index has gone down by 5%, for example, okay, and the stock has gone down by 1%, it basically means that the stock has outperformed. Okay, when when it comes to leading, improving on, or any of these quadrant, okay, whether it is also increasing from improving and rising north side, that doesn't mean that the absolute return can be positive. Okay, it just tells you the relative return, as compared to the index. So this is very important to understand, because it can so happen that when the markets are falling, something goes into leading and you buy in the expectation that, it is going to make you money, but the trend of the Nifty index is still down, then in absolute term, there is a high chance that, you might end up losing money, because Nifty might still go down, but the ones that you have bought, which were into leading, there is a chance that they might fall less. Okay, so this is an important, clarification which people must understand while using RRG. RRG becomes extremely helpful when you know that the index is going to turn around and it is going to rise higher. So for that, you have to have a view on the index, right? And for that only, to how to form a view on index, we have made several webinars in the past about the sentiment indicators which we have over here. So when you hover over here, there is something called as sentiment indicators. Okay, here we have explained, how to find the tops and the bottoms in the Nifty index. So we have different types of sentiment indicators over here. If you click on help, okay, I think, yeah, if you click over here on help, so here you will find this video of how to find the tops and bottoms in the Nifty index using the sentiment indicators. Okay, so you can go through this video, which is of 30 minutes. It explains you everything in detail. So now, once you have formed a view on the index, and supposingly you think that the market is going to go up, or basically, or down, whatever it is. So that's where you will come to RRG and try to find your setups. Okay, I hope these things are clear, because this is the starting point to understand. Okay, because many of the people end up saying that this stock or index went to leading, but then it is out underperforming, or but it has given us absolute negative return and so on. So everything that you analyze is a relative performance. Okay, so that is why, if the index is rising higher, then it makes sense for you to go ahead and see the setups which are bullish, and how to find bullish setups on RRG, I'll come back to in a while. But similarly, when the markets are going down, it doesn't mean that you buy the leaders, wait for the market to turn around, and then you try to buy something or good setups which are in leading, or which are in weakening and they are turning around. So yes, so that was the basics. Now I will explain you how to find the setups, and what are the things that you need to watch out for. So see, I told you that in RRG there are basically two things, right? One is momentum and one is RS ratio, right? That is the relative strength ratio. So if so now let me tell you how they will behave in the quadrant. Okay, now this is the RRG quadrant. Okay, so basically this is the 100 point. Okay, see, as you will see over here, so the convergence over here, so this is basically 100. Okay, and this is basically 100. Okay, then over here comes 101, 102, and so on, and here comes 99, 98, and so on. Okay, similarly over here 101 and so on, and here 99. Okay, this is RS ratio, and this is momentum. See, anything which is on the left hand side, okay, of 100, it means that on a relative strength basis, that stock is weak. Okay, which means that if the benchmark is going up, the stocks on the left hand side are could be going up, but they're going less than the benchmark. That's why the relative strength is on the left hand side. I mean, that's why these stocks would be, say, somewhere over here. Okay, depending on where they are, it will tell you the sort of underperformance that they have seen. Okay, and anything that is on the right hand side, that means that they are stronger than the benchmark. Okay, so in terms of quadrant in RRG, improving comes over here. This is lagging. Okay, sorry. This is lagging. This is leading. Okay, and this is weakening. So, as I mentioned, anything on the right hand side means that those stocks or sectors are outperforming the benchmark. Okay, and anything on the left hand side means they are underperforming. Okay, now see what happens over here. Basically, say for example IT, right? IT is rising, sort of northeast types. Then what it means is that the momentum is increasing, because the momentum, say, last time was 102.68, now it is 103.36, right? Which means momentum has increased, and even the RS ratio that you can see is 91.7 last. This is weekly time frame, right? So last week it was 91.47. This week it is 92.39. So even this has increased. So that's why it is angling towards northeast. So anything of that sort. Okay. So you can say that uh, in the protractor, if we have although 10-degree, 20-degree, 30-degree, 40-degree, so those kind of moves are usually strong, because it suggests that the momentum is also increasing and the RS ratio is also increasing, which is a good sign. Okay. Now say something like FMCG, which is going on the downside, so it is going towards say south and towards the west. Okay, any such setups, what it means is that the RS ratio is also going bad. Okay, I mean, it is getting worse. So you can see over here that the RS ratio, if I hover, is 96.99. Now it is 96.31. Okay, so RS ratio is also got worse. And if you see the momentum, it was 98.59, but it is 98.12 now. So now, when I simply look at the chart, okay, and if I had only these two things, which is IT and FMCG, then what I can quickly understand is that the IT index seems to be outperforming and FMCG index seems to be underperforming. Okay. Now, if my market outlook is bullish, and if I had an option between these two, I would rather choose Nifty IT, because it is outperforming, because the momentum is also increasing and the RS ratio is also increasing, right? But that is not the case with FMCG. So say for example, if the markets were going down, okay, then maybe I would want to find some shorting opportunities in FMCG, because here the relative strength is also going down, and the momentum is also going down, right? So this is the simple concept of sticking to the outperformers and sticking to the and shorting while they are underperforming. Okay. Now, one might argue that the RS ratio of FMCG is 96, but IT, it is still 92. The main thing is that the angles that which they are going in. Okay, you can see that there has been a very big distance that has been covered by IT, and that too in the last 3 to 4 weeks suggests that the IT index seems to be doing very well, and that is why you're seeing it angling towards you can say that 20-degree or so, or basically it is angling towards north east kind of area. Okay, so So this is more important now. So you understood one thing, right? The ones which are going down, that means they are laggard. That means over there, their RS ratio is also going down and the momentum is also going down. Okay, so there are basically four types. Okay, wait, let me remove this. Okay, so now there are two types. Sorry, there are four types of move that you will see. So one is like this. This means that the RS is going up, momentum is also going up, right? Now, then you will see this type of move, okay? Which means RS is increasing, momentum is sort of unchanged or going down. Okay, think of it this way actually, something like this. So that means, so over here, it would mean that the momentum is going down, right? Now, so there is one more thing, which is, okay, here RS is also falling, right? And momentum is also falling, right? And then there is the fourth one, which is something like this, where it shows that the RS is actually going bad. Okay, because over here, say it would have been 99, then it is angling towards the northwest type. So that's where the RS is going down, but the momentum is rising higher, right? So these are the four kind of moves that you will see happening in RRG. Now, which are very strong moves is this and this. Okay, wait, let me do it with some other color. Okay, so this one is a very good move and it suggests that it's in a strong uptrend, or rather not uptrend, but it is strongly outperforming. And something like this means that that particular stock or index is strongly underperforming, okay, for a period of time. This means, uh, this setup means that the performance is better, and that is why the RS ratio is going towards the right hand side. But you understand one thing, in any formula there is some smoothing that happens. Okay, so it is not that ke wo reversal ke first time pe he it will show a downward move. Maybe with a 1 week lag or so it will start cooling off. So that is why what happens is that judging momentum is also extremely important. Okay, I will just come that in a minute, but let me explain you what this means. So this means that the relative outperformance is still there on a rolling basis, but the momentum is now falling. Okay, and momentum is falling is not a good sign, and I'll show you why in just a while. And the last move is that the momentum is picking up, and that is why the it's angling towards north. But because the RS ratio is not good, so that's why it is more or less tilted towards the left hand side. So these kind of moves, okay, these can be promising provided you start seeing some relative outperformance as well. Okay, so I will just explain you these concepts just in a while. But as I mentioned to you, these kind of setup, okay, these kind of setups suggest strong outperformance. These kind of setup suggest strong underperformance. These sort of setups suggest that the outperformance is there, but the outperformance may not last because now the momentum is falling. Okay, And these type of setup tells you that so far there has been some underperformance, but these sort of setups can be promising because the momentum is now picking up. Okay, now I'll tell you why momentum plays a very very important role. Okay, now let's take a chart of IT and we'll take it weekly so that we have a meaningful data to check. Okay, now see, this you can see is Nifty IT. Now if you want to know which line is what, you can simply click over here if you get confused, and you will see over here that JDK momentum is the red line, the ratio is the green line. Okay, now you will observe always, okay, you will see momentum turning around first and then RS ratio. Sorry. Okay, momentum always turn first, then RS ratio will turn first. I mean, then secondly, RS ratio will turn, right? Over here also, momentum turns around first, then eventually RS ratio will turn. Okay, momentum, RS. You will see this pattern almost everywhere. Okay, not almost, but each time you will see this happening. Over here also, momentum has bottomed out first, and then it is the RS ratio that turns around. So that is why I mentioned that focusing on momentum is also extremely important, right? Which is over here. If the momentum is rising, that is a good sign. Okay, if momentum is rising, that means the RS ratio should start rising sooner or later. Okay, so but that doesn't mean that when the momentum is rising you start just blindly buying. It doesn't happen that way. RRG is a tool that will help you to scan the stocks very quickly. Okay, based on these kind of setups, what you then need to do is that get those stocks in your watch list, and then you have to look out for the setups which makes you comfortable while trading, right? But RRG can be more of a screening tool that can help you to quickly understand where is it that you need to focus more. Okay, so as I mentioned to you, it is always the momentum that turns around first, and then it is the RS ratio. That's why it is always important to check what the momentum is doing. You can see over here as well. Usually when the turnaround happens, so within first or the second candle you will see the momentum also turning back. Okay, so that's where this becomes important. And especially say in case when the markets are falling. Okay, that time if the momentum is rising, that means that relative strength also can rise, but it doesn't mean that the Nifty index will go down and something else will go up. It doesn't guarantee that. All it will mean is that the while the Nifty index goes down, the that particular stock or index may not go down to that extent, right? That is what it simply means. So please remember this. I'm pressing on this point because many times people say कि वो ये leading में आ गया तो अभी हमको पैसा नहीं मिला and all those things. That is why I'm specifically pressing on these points, right? So now the second main thing comes to what are the signals that you want to look out for, and this is actually very interesting. Okay, so please pay attention to it because this will help you to scan the stocks very very quickly and know where is it that you would want to focus on. So I'll mention over here improving, leading, weakening, lagging, right? And as you know, this is RS ratio. Okay, and this is momentum. Okay, now when a stock cuts from improving to leading, that means some stock or index which is following this pattern. This means that they are getting into that outperformance zone, and this outperformance zone can last for some time in the near term. Okay, depending on whatever time frame you choose. If it is daily, then you can see the outperformance happening, say, for next probably few days to few weeks. If it is weekly, then it would mean few weeks to few months. Okay, so cutting from, please think of the signals and then try to correlate with the time frame. Okay, so from improving to leading, it is as Julius himself calls it, that it can be a conservative buy, which means that now sort of we are sure that these stocks are outperforming the benchmark. So if the Nifty index is rising higher, there is a good probability that these stocks will help me give good returns, basically. Now the other one is going from weakening to lagging. Now, this means this is more like a conservative sell. That is because now the underperformance is happening to a very major extent as against the benchmark. So, say for example, this was over here, somewhere over here, and it has traveled over here. This means that its outperformance is deteriorating significantly and at a very rapid pace, and that is why it is going into the lagging quadrant. So that is where you need to be aware of these kind of stocks or index, because there is a very high probability that they will underperform. Okay, and you might not be able to make money in those stocks even if they are even if the market is going up higher. That is because in absolute terms they are likely to underperform. Okay, now which are the two setups which is which are actually very good and they can help you make money? Okay, so one is something like this happening. So the stock has gone from leading to weakening. Okay, it's going to weakening, and then you see the momentum turn around. And as I told you, momentum will always turn around first, and then you will see outperformance coming in. Okay, so the angle doesn't matter, but say something like this is happening, or you know something like this is happening. So all these are good things. I mean, if something is happening like this, then nothing like it, because it means that the outperformance also very good. I mean, the momentum is also good. That's why this is rising higher, and the RS ratio is also improving, and that is why it is going towards the northwest side. Sorry, the northeast side. So that is why. So these are typically very good setups. Now I'll tell you why these are very good setups. Okay, because what happens is that wait, when the line turns from weakening to leading. Okay, when this line turns from weakening to leading, what it typically means is that the stock has the stock was an outperformer. Okay, and that's why it was into the leading quadrant. But then what happened is that this because of this bullish trend, I mean, prolonged bullish trend, it went through a phase of correction. Now, when it went through a phase of correction, what it led to was deteriorating of RS ratio and the momentum. Okay. Now, when the stock is now ready to fly once again, that's where you will see some turnaround happening in the momentum first. Okay. and then when it actually breaks out, or it starts performing well, you will see the RS ratio also turning around and doing very well, and that's where then the journey back to leading also starts, and that's where you can make money, and you can easily find the stocks which are rising higher. Okay. The second setup is when the line turns around from improving to lagging. In fact, you have to actually try and see if the setups are doing well at this phase only, when the momentum starts turning around, because then so that you will be able to eat this entire move on the upside in case the uptrend is happening, right? So similarly, when it is a downtrend, okay, when it is a downtrend and a stock is doing like this and then it is turning around, so this means that now the outperformance is taking a toll. In fact, the momentum is also taking a toll. And as I mentioned to you, if the momentum falls, eventually the RS might also fall, and that's where the risk of then again going back to the lagging comes into play. Okay, and this is extremely important to understand so that you know which are the signals that you would want to look at, because you will see that there are so many lines in the RRG chart. You quickly want to understand which are the ones that can give you some good setups, right? So that is where I told you these, as Julius mentioned, these are conservative buy. When something moves from improving to leading, when something moves from weakening to lagging, they are conservative sell. But if we try and find these kind of setups, this can help us make good money on the long side, especially when it is a bullish trend. And when it is a bearish trend, you might want to look at these kind of setups where from improving they are turning around. Okay. And yes, I mean that's where then the downtrend can happen. So in those stocks, basically what happens is that they would be in a downtrend. Okay. And when this pullback is happening, okay, this pullback is happening, that's why they will come to improving. But once the pullback is over and then they are ready to start its next leg on the downside, that's where you will see the RRG coming down, and you will see the price action also following the same path. Okay, I hope this is very clear to you, because based on this is what I will show you the example. So Nifty IT, we understood that, right? You can see over here what has happened. It was in a corrective phase. Okay, see over here there was a correction, right? And in correction, after the correction happened and when the up move was going to start, what happens is that here the pace of the decline has stopped. I mean, it is not falling as fast as it was falling earlier. So that's why momentum stopped falling over here. Okay. And then with this first rise in the candle, that's where you saw the momentum also rising. And then eventually RS ratio also started rising higher, and that was an indication that an outperformance is likely in the near term. And similarly over here, see, you can see over here that there was actually a big divergence. Momentum peaked out over here, but RS peaked out over here. Okay, so as I mentioned to you, when momentum starts turning around, that's where you need to be cautious. And when RS starts falling, that is mainly like a trigger point, and you need to be careful that now a correction can happen. Something very similarly happened at the bottom as well. When IT was turning around, momentum turned around first, and and then the RS ratio turned around. So how it looks like on a RRG chart is something like this. Okay, see, let me yeah, take a big tail so that you understand the behavior of this. Now, if I click on only IT and see how it has behaved. Okay. See, you can see over here. This is the date, that is 17.3 we are seeing on the weekly chart. So when I hover on trading view, 17.3 is, sorry, I was checking. So it was, I think, 2000. Yeah. Okay, what was this date? That was okay, 17.3 March. Okay, this is where it came into lagging actually. Okay, somewhere over here. That's where it came into lagging and it saw a very drastic fall over here. You can see this cutting over here and you saw that sharp fall. So that is why, see, what happens is that, as I mentioned to you earlier, when you are trying to wait for it to get into lagging and then short it, it is going to be, I mean, it might be pretty late. You might just be chasing momentum. Okay. So that is very important to keep in mind. As I mentioned to you earlier also, your actual point of action should be either to find out these or these kind of setups. These kind of setups will help you when you are trying to manage a portfolio. Okay, or you yourself are managing your portfolio. This is like your ultimate level, because when it gets to the lagging quadrant, sometimes it can happen that the ones which are laggard, they will keep moving over here only, and in absolute terms they'll give you a very bad return. So say something like media is actually now turning around, but if you see media, it has been in a very bad shape. So now see, if I do media over here, okay, let me zoom out a bit. You see the way media has behaved. Okay, from here, rising, 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 going back, and then again turning around. Now see what happens when this is turning around. Okay, this is what 2309. Okay, let me note the date. 2309 2024. Okay, which means we are looking at September. Now when I see the chart, okay, 23 September, okay, then you can see what is happening. Sorry, yeah. So this was the point actually, okay, where it signaled that it is now turning around, and see what has happened next. Okay, so this is why I mentioned to you that it is very important to understand the positioning. Okay, these sort of uh, patterns help you to make good money and try it, and this will help you to catch the trend right at the start. Okay, so a combination of higher and a lower time frame can also be very handy to you to understand, okay, what is the medium term trend that is telling you, and what is the short term trend that is suggesting you. So yes, so this is how it is now. I think in the last webinar, when we were doing, it was basically on the top down approach. Okay, that time we had spotted nifty metals. Okay, because nifty metal was doing extremely well. See, you can see over here the movement of nifty metal. Okay, see over here, it turned around. Okay, this was the initial sign, and you can see it is on the northwest side, this, which means that the RS is also improving and the momentum is also improving. And this, you can see the date is 9/6. Okay, this is 9.6. So over here there was some consolidation, and understand that we are seeing this relative to the Nifty index. So that is why, I mean, but that's where the outperformance started over here for the metal, and then it saw a good turnaround. Okay, if I do metal over here, and then it saw a very good turnaround. Okay, and if you see what was happening on daily, that was even more interesting. So see over here also, in daily also, we were seeing this thing happening, and in weekly also, we were seeing these things happening. So when both of them converge, it is usually a very, very, very good sign that an outperformance can happen. And when you see the chart also, say on the weekly chart, what it has done is that it was in an uptrend. Okay, it was in an uptrend, and then it went through this phase of whatever you call it, correction or consolidation, and then now it is trying to turn around. So now when it is trying to turn around, and you see on the weekly, cutting it on the leading as well, so there is a good chance that this index can probably outperform. That is also because you have some good pattern as well. If you draw something like this, it has broken out from the channel, and now it is trying to go up on the upside after a brief correction or consolidation, and you can see that the momentum is also rising and its RS is also rising. So these are good signs. So yes. So now see, now that is where then we talked about that. Okay, if the Nifty metal is looking good, so what you have to do is that you can type over your Nifty metal. Okay, once you click over here, you see all the stocks within that indices. Okay, how they are doing. And I think when we had done, I think 1 or 2 weeks back this webinar, I clearly know that the Tata Steel was turning around. Okay, the RRG of this was turning around. So you can see over here. I think we had done it last week only, and it was turning around. So when you click on Tata Steel and you see the chart, what had happened was that again the same thing. It had moved higher. Okay, and after that, in this little bit of correction or consolidation, whatever you call it, the momentum had gone down, and then in this candle itself, okay, you could see that the momentum is turning around, and now it is again, I mean, the next week it moved higher by 6%, this by 1%, and now it is again trying to turn around, and it is trying to make a comeback. And the good part is that Tata Steel is already on the right hand side, which means that within the metal index, Tata Steel has been sort of an outperformer. Okay, and turning up is also a good sign. So in these case, something like Welspun Corp, Tata Steel, these can be some good ideas to look at positionally. Okay, what you might then want to do is that go on a lower time frame on the daily chart and see where the signals occur. I mean, the next bullish signal occurs, so that you might want to get into that. But yes, I mean, this is how you can quickly check it. What is happening now. Say APL Apollo, this is into leading. Okay, and this has been an outperformer, but you can see that the this line is falling. Okay, which means its relative strength is also going down, and its underperformance is also happening at the same time. So this is at the risk of going to weakening, and if the same trend then persists, then it will eventually lead to the stock going to the lagging quadrant as well. And that is where then some sort of outperformance, I mean underperformance, can occur. Okay, this can actually be very helpful from a positional pair trade perspective as well. Say, for example, one can, through this, okay, because this is the stronger one. In markets, usually what happens is that the strong becomes stronger, the weak becomes weaker, right? So if that theory is true, and which is what is believed, then the guys who are doing pair trade, they can also do this, that they can buy Tata Steel and they can sell JSW Steel. Okay. Again, you please understand this, that RRG is a screener. Okay. It helps you to identify those setups very quickly. Okay. But you have to see the stocks ka setups individually as well, so that you understand, if those trades are taking, I mean, if those trades are worth taking or not. Okay. And as I mentioned to you, once you create a watch list, okay, so watch list can be created if you go to the home page, and if you create a watch list over here. Okay, so say for example, I have created something like, say, portfolio watch list. Okay, I can go to RRG, I can click over here, portfolio watch list, and quickly see which are the stocks that are what they are doing. Okay, now say for example, within one look, I can see that, okay, Tata Power is going down, Gale is going down. So Gale, broke into the weekly, but the momentum is falling, and this is not a good sign. Hinzing is going down. This is not a good sign. Pony Sugar, IndusInd Bank, these are not good signs, right? The ones that are good, that is basically Z, Dhanuka, Birla Nu, Aster DM, Reliance, because they are all moving towards the northeast side. So this is how, I can make a watch list and quickly understand what is happening. Okay, and supposedly if I want to do something, maybe now see, I can see that SPIC is sort of turning around, right? Speak. So I might want to then see the chart, what is happening. Okay, I can see that now the momentum has bottomed out over here and it is turning around. Now, when I see the chart, the first thing that looks to me is that, okay, it has broken out from this falling trend line, but somehow it is still not able to break this resistance decisively. Okay, so I would keep a very close eye on this, what this stock is doing. Okay, maybe at the break of the consolidation, I will see how the RRG is also behaving, and that might get me, actually interested in this stock. So that's how, I created a watch list, and I quickly came to know what do I need to do. Now, see, something like Orchid Pharma. Okay, its RS is 63. That is like very bad. I mean, so there is a very good chance that it would have underperformed very significantly. So if I have to see the chart of Orchid Pharma, so you can see, oh, the stock from 2000, it has fallen all the way to 603. So you can see that the momentum has started turning around over here. Okay, and there is some positive or divergence as well. I mean, despite the fall, the momentum is rising, which means that the pace of the decline is halting, right? And now you can see that some bit of outperformance from the RS is also happening. So maybe this can end up being something very interesting that you might want to look at, also because it is way on the left hand side. Okay, so there is a good chance of a lot of outperformance that can kick in, because usually what happens is that they move into cycles from improving to leading to weakening to lagging. Okay, yes, I cannot rule out this as well, that Orchid Pharma, it rises higher, it sees some bounce back, and then it again goes down. So if such things happen, then you need to be careful. Okay, and that's where you need to keep a close eye on it and just review it once in a week. In fact, say for example, if I like Orchid, on the weekly it is good, I'll see in daily what is it doing. In daily, I can see that it is going towards the northwest, northeast side, which means the momentum is improving, and uh, its RS is also improving. So probably this can end up actually becoming a good bet. Spic also, which we spoke about, you can see that it is also actually rising higher. Okay, its momentum is also rising higher. Its RS is also rising higher, and in weekly it is turning around. So this might end up being a good setup. But as I mentioned, I mean, you always need to look at the setups also individually. But RRG will help you quickly understand, what actions that you need to take on those stocks. Then, once you screen those stocks, you can quickly make a watch list of that and keep it in your radar so that, you can take some actionable trade whenever those signals occur. So I think that is broadly it on RRG. We can take up the questions if we have any. I'll try to get the questions. Uh, Hari Kamalji, yeah, future trade and options, surely we'll do a webinar on that. Meanwhile, you can just log on to uh, our YouTube channel, which is strike underscore IC. Once you do that, strike underscore IC. Sorry. Okay, once you do that, you can go to Strike Money and you can go over here on live section. You will have all those webinars of options, futures. Futures also we did a month or two back. So see, in all these, basically the concept will remain the same, right? So you can get a lot of help by going and checking these webinars. We have done a lot of webinars in the past. I'm sure you will find a lot of value in that. Okay, but yes, surely we'll try to do that webinar as well. While so there is a question, while choosing sector for swing trade using RRG, which quadrant could be more effective, leading or improving? So as I mentioned to you, you can go something with this or this. Okay, wait, I'll do it with a different shade. You'll either go with this or you will go with something that is happening, which is turning around. This would be a very conservative and a good bet. That is because it has already proven that it is an outperformer. So that's why, this is good. Here, the risk is that if it goes and it turns around, that is where the risk is. But sometimes, if this is going to break into the leading quadrant, which we don't know right at the start, okay, but we try to spot the turnarounds. So this can be more rewarding, especially if it breaks into the leading, because that's where you literally caught it when the turnaround was actually happening. But yes, trying to catch these sort of setups means that the stock is already in an uptrend, and in this corrective phase when it is turning around, that's where you're trying to catch it. So this can be more beneficial for a swing trader, uh, or turnaround from the weekly. RMI scanner is not. Yeah, so RMI scanner is so far not updating in 1 minute. We have just last. I mean, we are just left with the last module, which is indicator, which we are already working on. Once this is done, even the RMI scanners will start refreshing 1 minute, and probably we will even try bringing down the lower time frames as well. Okay, it would be helpful to add individual stocks. What returns has been. So, Vignesh, your point is valid. So, based on the count, whatever you do, okay, say for example, if I have taken 18 days or 21 days over here, you can see this tail is over here. You can see the returns over here within that 18 days. Okay, so maybe I don't know if that helps, but yes, I mean, this is something that you can do. You can increase the number of counts so that you understand which are the stocks that are performed, how they have performed and what returns they have given. What are the confirmations that you? Uh, okay, Baburaj, I hope you understood after the detailed explanation. If you have not still understood, please let us know in the comment. Uh, we, I'll again explain it. How to create a watch list of for sectors. Okay. Now see, what I have done is that in only indices, there are actually a lot of sectors, right? Let me wait. Let me just reduce the count so that the chart looks clean. Okay. Now see, what I have done is that I selectively wanted only the sector stocks, okay, not the Nifty 100 and all. So what I did that I clicked over here. I made a watch list over here, saying that Nifty index, Nifty indices on RRG. Basically, you can see over here. I have made one watch list which is Nifty RRG indices. Okay. So the way I created is that I clicked on this. Okay. I created a new watch list by clicking over here, created Nifty RRG indices. And then once I added that index, I simply wait. I'll so Nifty 50 is not there over there. Okay. So I'll just try and add over there. So you can see that Nifty RRG indices, the count over here. Okay. Right. Now, when you see Nifty indices RRG, you will see that I hope I added in the right. Nifty 50, Nifty RRG indices. Oops. Okay, you can see that it has got added over here. Nifty 50. Now you can see this. I actually made only sector indices, right? So yes, I mean this is how you can add those indices. So basically, click anywhere you want, whatever stocks you want to add. Just click over here, make a new watch list and add to them, and you will be able to see it in your watch list. So you can either do it through RRG also over there, or you can also look at doing it over here. Okay. Here also you can add it. If you find it difficult to add from there, you can add it over here as well, create, and you can make a watch list. And this watch list will be taken in the RRG tab. Okay. Uh, can you suggest we should buy a call option? So we are not here to give you any recommendation. We are just trying to explain you what exactly, how do we use RRG. Tata Steel, uh, okay, Tata Steel on daily, right? So yes, I'm just taking up this question which says, what is Tata Steel doing on daily? Good question. So yeah, we could see that in the weekly it was turning around. Now on the daily, it is going towards the right side, which means that the relative strength is doing well. Ideally, the better thing would have been that if Tata Steel was moving, towards the north east side, so that it would mean that even the momentum is rising higher. The momentum is rising higher, but at a very slow pace. But nevertheless, because the weekly is also good and it is turning around, and Tata Steel is also moving towards right. So yes, maybe that is why on the weekly it is turning around, and maybe we can end up seeing some good move over there. As per RRG, Hind Corp rank next after Tata Steel, and as it might get into leading quadrant. Uh, Hind Copper. Yes, Hind Copper is good. Is good. I mean, it might break into weakening. It might break into leading, but I think probably a more interesting would maybe be actually VEDL. Also, Vedanta has also turned around, but you can see that there is some pickup in the momentum that we are seeing in Hindalco. So Hindalco could be giving those early signs of a turnaround. Okay, now I'm not saying that it has turned around completely, but yes, if we had say Hind Copper and Hindalco as an option, then I would think that yes, Hind Copper has a lot more strength. But this can be an interesting one to also look at. The ones which I would tend to avoid would be Hind Zinc, NMDC, Jindal Steel, Jindal, JSW Steel, because there are no signs of turnaround at all. Okay, there are no signs of turnaround, and that's why I might want to avoid those. But JSL, Hind Copper, Vedanta, National Aluminium, those could be some interesting ones that one may want to look at. How to import all the FNO stocks. So actually, see, what has happened is that we have put a limit of 50. So what I've done is that I have created 4 5 watch list. I mean, I have not updated the recently new added ones, but you can do 50-50 ka 4 watch list. In the new update that we are bringing, we are trying to see if 100 stocks can be accommodated in one watch list. We are trying that. I'm not sure if we are able to do that or no, because it is taking a lot of loading time. Okay, and it might make the system slow also. So we are trying for that. If we are able to do that, then maybe in maybe in 3 watch list you will be able to see the all the FNO stocks. But right now, Asha, what I'm doing is that I am going to say heat map. Okay, I'm going to FNO heat map, and from there I am taking 50 stocks in my watch list over there. So that way, I'm making I'll have to make 4 to 5 RRG ka watch list for me to see it in RRG 50-50 ke batch mein. Can you risk reward? Can you please tell any from India charts? Anurag, you can go to India charts. We have done a lot of webinars on these. I mean, on this, and even on India charts, you will be able to see what you're looking out for. You might need to hunt a bit, in the YouTube channel. And when the mobile application is some time away, but we are working on it. Things are taking a little time, but that's on the cards now. I mean, earlier, we thought that we might not do that, but based on the feedback that we have got, I think we will be doing that. What is the red line and the green line, which is relative strength? Okay, so the question is by AK, which is relative strength. So in the chart, when you go, if you get confused, frankly, even I get confused. So what I do is that I double click. When you double click, it will tell you the black line is the 100, which is the midpoint, and then the red one is the momentum, green one is the RS ratio. Okay, some stocks created for small number, but yeah. So see, KKG, we have explained, I think, in the webinar as well many times. But what will happen is that you can see that there are this blurred watch list, right? What it means is that these watch list count has exceeded 50, and that is why it is not possible for us to show it on RRG, and that is why they are blurred. but anything which is lesser than 50, you might be able to see it in the RRG. Okay. So if it is blurred, then that means there are 50 stock, I mean more than 50 stock, and you might need to remove some of them so that you can check it. How to import all FNO stocks? So Shikhar, as I mentioned to you, um, how to import. So yes, you might have to do it from heat map, or else if you want to import, you can take any CSV file, but the requirement is that the name should be in symbol. Okay. If you want to import, if you want to upload some file. Okay. Now see, for example, I want to make, say, this testing watch list once again, and I'll give it some other name. So I have to import CSV. Okay, from wherever you are downloading, we would want a CSV file of that. Actually, I think I downloaded in properties. This is CSV. Okay, so we are only bothered with symbols. If you have this, then the watch list will be created. So say for example, now I am creating a new watch list over here. Okay, import. Wait, actually, I'll have to make a new watch list for that. Import file, download CSV, export, and you will be able to see the stock. Okay, so we would want basically the symbols of that stock so that this watch list gets created. Mm. What does the tail length signifies? So the tail basically tells you how stronger the move is. Basically, if there is a lot of gap between the tails, it tells you that the move is very strong. Say from example, in Nalco, okay, the RS ratio was 89 and now it is 91. So that is a significant jump, and that's why you're seeing a big gap between the two dots and the tail is big. So whenever the tail is big, it means, and it is rising higher, which means that the RS and the momentum is very, very strong. Okay. And if the tail is very big on the downside, I think I saw that for reality. Um, So if you see reality, you can see that there is a big tail on the, which is on the right hand side. So this means that there is a very significant underperformance that has happened, and that has led to, it having a very big tail. So stronger, I mean, the bigger the tails, the stronger those moves are. Now, whether they are on the up move or down move, that RRG chart will tell you. How to use RRG if my time horizon is intraday? See, intraday it won't help. Honestly, sports, Kira. So intraday it won't help you, but combination of hourly and daily will help you to find setups. Say from 2 3 days to 1 week, sort of. Okay. So for that, combination of hourly and daily will work. But if you want to do intraday, then RRG won't help. I'm sorry. If 15 minute is the lower time frame, then the higher time frame would be 1 minute on RMI setup. Yes, so RMI setup, you can do that, Gurdeep Singh. You can probably use 1530 also as a combination, or 15 and hourly also. Totally depends on what. If it is intraday, so you might want faster signal. So I think 15 and 30 minutes would be a good combination to look at. Should Sanjeev, the question is, it shows Indigo on lagging quadrant also. RRG does not have basket for FNO, next 50, and so on. So Sanjeev, I just explained that you might have to create those because 50-50 is the limit. So you might have to create 3 to 4 watch list, because see, please understand one thing. What happens is that if I put 200 stocks in RRG, it will become messy and you might not be able to anyways understand anything. So it does not solve the purpose and it makes the system slow. That is why we had capped to 50 minutes. We are trying to see if we can make it to 100, provided the performance is not compromised. RRG does not allow creating basket. Yes, I think that has been addressed. And having issues on my tablet. Uh, Anuj, I'm not sure actually of the tablet version. Please, get in touch. You please raise a ticket. I think someone will get in touch with you. Okay. I'm not too sure about the tablet version, uh, but I don't think there is any issue that you will find in the web version. Custom date, heat map, DV. It would be great if you can post that again, your query. Heat map query by DV. Using custom heat map, identify performing stocks and to bank on those stocks. I have a query. Okay. So DV, we covered this in detail in the previous webinar as well. I'll just give you a gist of that. Okay. If we go to the heat map, right now, say for example, Nifty index, it has been in this corrective phase for the last, say, from say 27. Okay, now I just simply want to scan के 27 से लेके 4th July, which are the outperformers and underperformers. So what I do is that 27 to 4th I did, and I end up getting consumer durable. If you see now, if you see over here, see, basically all these things sort of get captured in RRG as well. You can see that consumer durable is the one which has outperformed meaningfully, right? ये same cheese, when you go to RRG and when you look at daily chart, you will see a very good move in the RRG this line, and you can see, and it has moved to the leading quadrant as well. And say for example, consumer durable, right? It has gone to weekly, and weekly say it is turning around. So it can be a good sign and maybe worth looking at it. Now if you might want to see कि consumer durable के अंदर भी कौन से stocks है which can do well, so you can simply go to consumer durable and you will be able to see the stocks within that. So something like Voltas, Crompton में this has gone, it has gone on the right hand side. Maybe something like Blue Star Company, where we are seeing some early signs of turnaround. So if I see the chart, so you can see that there has been a 15% move in this week. Uh, you know, the momentum is also trying to turn around, and maybe I don't know if we can call this as a falling wedge. Something like this has occurred. So yes, that's how it can be helpful for you to see it. Now, based on your question on heat map, this is how you can do it. Okay, custom mein jao, you select the dates what you want to select, and whichever are at the top are your outperformers, whichever are at the bottom are your underperformers. And see, reality also, I showed you a big tail on the daily chart, and that is because you can see that it has been the worst performer on the daily chart. I mean, within this time frame, basically. A feature will be helpful to provide the list of many stocks. Yes, Sanjeev, I understand your query. There are a lot of things in our pipeline, and it has gone a little slow than we expected. But so some scanners for RRG is something that we already have a plan. If there are any additional scanners that you might want, or you might think that it would be helpful, you can just post us. We will try and see how to accommodate those things. Okay. Sectors which performed. Sunil Panda, is this helpful for index option trading? The answer would be no, because your benchmark is only Nifty 50. So at the max, you can compare Bank Nifty with Nifty 50. But as I mentioned, I mean, these are all relative performance. So that is why. Maybe शायद pair trade के लिए काम आ जाए, but I don't think RRG would be helpful for index option. For index option, the thing that would be very helpful is the daily swing indicator, which helps you, find the short-term tops and bottoms. Which I think we have also, put a video on that in detail, and we have done many shorter videos as well. You can check out our Twitter feed as well. All those things. All those people who are new on this platform, you can follow us on strike_IC. We keep posting our observations. Okay. You can see over here that we keep posting our observations, or we even retweet people's observation as well. So over here, you can see that, how to use FII future. This was explained in a short video and so on. So we keep making this short videos of the daily swing. So, please follow us, and you might be able to get something insightful about our features. Okay. Yes. As so far, the price action heat map is updating every minute. We are working on indicator. So once we work on the indicator, so all this RSI, MFI, and all that, those will also get updated every minute. So everything right now, price related, has been moved to 1 minute, which means price percentage away from 52-week high and low. These are on 1 minute basis. The rest are on 5 minutes, but we are in the process of moving that to 1 minute as well. Okay. Fundamental scanner, Abhishek. Firstly, thanks for being with us for a long time. I know that you have. I mean, you all have been very patient. We have this priority of moving all the screens to 1 minute. Once that is done, I can promise you that we'll bring those fundamental scanners as well. Okay. Right now, the thing is that while we are doing this transition, there are some times that issues that we are facing. So we don't want to spread a lot and put out lots of more features. We first want to consolidate and make this run this software very fast. And once we are able to achieve that, once all the screens moves to 1 minute live, these things will be possible, which means that the system will also get fast, and hopefully we will have lesser and lesser bugs as we keep solving them. And once all those things happen, we will surely move it to the fundamental scanners. Okay. Because those are already ready. We need to test few cases after moving everything to 1 minute. Okay. But this should be in the horizon soon. So yes, thanks a lot. I think that's all for today. I hope the webinar added value, and thanks a lot for sparing time on the Sunday morning. Hopefully we'll do some webinar on any of the topic. Please, you let us know on Twitter what topic we can do webinar, and we'll try to arrange a webinar for that. Okay. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for giving your time.